Hello, YouTube family. It's your girl, Lachey Taylor. I will be rebranding soon and getting rid of the Black Pineapple brand. And I'm just going to rebrand as myself, Lachey Taylor. And yeah, so I actually did another live stream prior to this, but I did a whole 12 minutes with no sound. And the people watching me were kind enough to let me know that I didn't have any sound. So now I have to start over and I will be deleting that video. I don't have a ton of time because when I started it, I had the time. I do have to work after this, unfortunately. So I have about a good 25 minutes to give to you to just give some insight on this topic and talk about my personal health journey and the strategies that I use to stay committed in my health journey, because it has not been easy. It's really hard changing who you've always been, because it's a reconditioning process. You're reconditioning, you're rewiring. So that is a whole task in and of itself. And I've been doing this intentionally since 2019, where the first act of self-love was quitting alcohol. I stopped drinking. I stopped drinking hard alcoholic beverages. My favorite was typically wines or vodkas. None of that in my body, none of that in my system. I then graduated on to transitioning off of animal-based products into plant-based options. And that evolved into starting a whole food, plant-based, raw vegan journey. And then that kind of graduated towards that aspiration of being like a fruitarian. And every level of change required a certain amount of discipline and devotion to myself, but it has not been easy and it has not been perfect. And I have gone through cycles, and a lot of people have gone through cycles. So I say all that to say, never compare your day one to someone's day 1000, because health, in my opinion, it's objective. Healthy is objective, but it's also subjective, because we are comparing it to, we're only always trying to achieve being better than the previous version of ourselves. We're not here to compare ourselves to anybody. We can only measure our success based on where we used to be. So I always tell people to make healthier choices, start with where you're at. Do not compare yourself or don't compare anything to what anybody else is doing, period. Because we all started somewhere, and I've been doing this since 2019 as far as just my intentional health journey, but it's been a progressive journey of taking out the addictive aspects of every food group, so to speak, or journey. So you can be addicted to the blood foods, the meats. You can be addicted to the dairy. You can be addicted to, the alcohols, the smokes, the this and that, right? And you have to wean yourself off of that, because there is that addiction factor. Some people can go cold turkey, but some people will literally lose their minds because they start going through a withdrawal process. And a lot of the things, so if you're a person who's trying to start a health journey and you're overwhelmed on where to start, because there's just so much going on in the community when you're trying to start, and there's this person telling you not to do this and not to eat that. No, you have to start with where you're at. So if you are coming from a standard American diet and you're eating dairy, cheese, and you're eating burgers, like meat, animal, beef burgers, and you're eating a lot, you're drinking milk, you're eating eggs, like, which is basically a chicken's menstrual cycle, and you're eating all of these things, and that's where you're at in your journey, and you want to start pivoting, then use the plant-based options like the faux meats. Use the what do they call it? The Just Egg. Use the vegan breads and the vegan, like, use all of it. I understand that it's processed. I understand it's not necessarily healthy, but there's levels, right? Because you're trying to break an addiction. So you have to meet yourself where you're at. It's still a healthier option, in my opinion, because you're taking out you're weaning yourself off of something that's, number one, not even good for the planet ecologically, eating animals. And you're consuming the pus and the mucus and the blood of animals when you're consuming milk and dairy products. Like, it's absolutely disgusting. So there's levels to health, but you're always going to be comparing your health journey to where you started and where you are at. Anyway, let me get into the strategies that I have used on my health journey that has helped me stay committed and devoted to my health journey, no matter where I was at in that journey. Because even when I did over 100 days of being fully raw vegan, and I'll go through my cycles of doing these challenges where I'll do like 30-day cleanses of all fruit, I'll do juice fast, I'll do these things, and they are tools that I use for maintenance. But I don't have peak perfect health. It took decades to destroy my health, but I am so much better off than when I had first started my health journey. And the strategies that I have used have kind of been like mind hacks. So one strategy I used was romanticizing my health journey. So I would get like my wine glasses, I repurposed them for my juices. So when I wanted to wind down and I wanted to use my wine glasses and kind of like set the mood, so to speak, and have like the aesthetic aspect of it, because I'm like an aesthetic person, and I used to love to like make dinner, wind down, put my feet up, have a glass of wine, and have the fancy glasses. So now I like to have my green juices, and I love the colors of them. I enjoy the process of making them. I love recording. I love sharing photos. I love inspiring. That is me romanticizing my health journey. And as I romanticize it, it just makes me feel good about myself. It makes me feel good about inspiring people to make healthier choices. And also wine glasses, cool bottles. Like if I'm shopping and I see a bottle, I'll think, oh, this would be a dope bottle, for my juice and things of that sort. So I use that to help romanticize the process. And in this bottle is actually my watermelon juice. I am doing the watermelon washout, which is just a way to give my body that digestive rest that it needs, allow it to regenerate from the unhealthier comfort food choices I was making in the colder months. And, I'm not perfect. And I have learned that I'm not trying to be, but I am always on a progressive journey. I'm always seeking to evolve, and I'm always ready to break out of these cycles, but I don't put all this crazy pressure on myself. And that's also one of the strategies that I have evolved into, was no perfectionism. On the road to excellence, you have to progress. And progressing is just being better than the habits that you used to have. I am no longer a meat eater. I no longer consume dairy. I no longer drink alcohol. I no longer regularly fill my lungs with smoke. I do not do these things anymore. So I am so much better than the version of self that I used to be. So I don't go crazy in my head if I have a slip up and eat something else. Like my slip up is some rice with veggies. Sometimes it'll be like a processed vegan meal, but that happens so few and far between. I don't beat myself up for it anymore. And also, though, the mind hack to help wean us off of those things that we know aren't good for us, you have to start letting yourself know and genuinely and truly believe that food is not food. It is poison because it works against our body's biological processes. Our bodies were not designed to consume that. So we do have to be realistic and know that when we are eating certain things, the sugary things, the salty things filled with all the oils and the fats, those things designed to make us addicted to it, that we have to know that we need to eat that in way smaller portions than we're eating things that are good for us. But I do believe that as long as about 70 to 80% of what you normally consume is nourishing, is something that our bodies assimilate very easily, and you have like that off day where you're out with friends and you're eating, a vegan processed, some vegan junk food or whatever, like, don't beat yourself up. We still live in the matrix. We're not here to be perfect. We're here to be better. And really, when you see people who have been like raw vegan or fruitarians for 5, 10+ years, please know that they also gone through these cycles. It takes time. It is a journey. Enjoy your life in the process. Be grateful that you feel better now than you did when you have first started your journey. What else did I do outside of romanticizing the journey? I'm sorry, I have my notepad with me here just to keep me on track. And I don't have too much time. I've got about probably 10:25 to 10:30. And then I'll have to go to work, unfortunately. So I said that I romanticize the journey, and feel free to attach your ego to the process, right? You know how a lot of women were like, I want to be her. We think of like that highest version of ourselves, of who she is, what she does, what she wears, how she speaks, how she shows up in the world. You want to be her or him, right? So attach your ego to this. Like, my version of her is healthy. My version of her doesn't play about my body. My version of her, like, will literally look at something that I know doesn't belong in me and be like, I love myself way too much to put that inside of me. Like, I'm her. I don't play about me. You know what I mean? So attach your ego to it. If that's what it takes for you to be on your journey. I know they say you have to have a certain level of humility and all of that. And like, yeah, that's cool and everything. But, we will evolve into that heightened spiritual being that's all perfect and have completely detached to everything. Like, we're all trying to get there, and we will get there. But let me tell you something. When I started attaching, like, the visualization of, like, my highest version of myself is healthy. I have a clean body. I don't have symptoms. I have clear skin. My highest version has glowy skin. My highest version has healthy nails, healthy hair, a beautiful, tight, fit body that I adore and I love and I want to self-preserve. I have good hormone balance. Like, I have really short, painless periods. That's the highest version of myself. I have to be in my bag, so to speak, to maintain this way of living consistently over the long term. And then, like I just said that. And I also mentioned to be perfect. I pivoted to progress and just appreciating and embracing and mastering the transition. So realize that you can transition into this. You do not have to be perfect. So if you are struggling with food addiction and you overeat and you eat the standard American diet and everything that you consume is highly addictive, you have to realize that you have to wean yourself off of that. You do not have to give up everything all at once. What you do is you create a routine for your healthy choices. So what really helped me stay consistent in making daily healthy choices on routine was making it a part of my rising ritual or my morning routine, as most people would say, right? So I knew I would allow myself to have like an unhealthy option or a less than perfect option at some point in the day. However, I had to earn that meal. So I would start my day off by drinking water. So I'd do like 48 ounces of water, 24 ounces minimum. And then I'd have 8 ounces of a cup of herbs, like some sort of blood cleansing herb, like yellow dock, burdock, sarsaparilla. Then I would eat nothing but fruit. I'd find my favorite fruit that's in season, and I would consume that all day into about 4 or 5 p.m. when I get to eat whatever I want. And what I was finding in that process is that because I wasn't seeking to be perfect, I was just seeking to be better and be more consistent at being better and making healthier choices. I was finding that I was actually making healthier choices more consistently every single day in comparison, because before I was in this cycle trap where I was trying to be 100% perfect at being a raw vegan or a fruitarian and failing at it because I didn't want to eat fruit, because I didn't want to eat raw food, because I was dealing with the withdrawal symptoms of wanting salt, wanting sugar, and wanting all these things and telling myself I couldn't have it and being totally restrictive, that I would either go through these cycles of trying to be perfect and hating it, or binge eating on the worst stuff and not even trying to be healthy at all. So I had to create like this 70-30 effect on a day to day. And I learned that it actually became muscle memory for me to get up every day, start with my water, start with my herbs, eat my fruit. And then when I came home, sometimes I would stay on fruit. Some days I would just eat a big old salad, and I would have some grilled, something like grilled, like if I'm transitioning off of the meat, some grilled shrimp or something like that. Like it would be high healthy. It wouldn't be 100% perfect, but like high healthy. You have to meet yourself where you're at. So I feel like being better, having the focus on progression and betterism versus perfectionism will always keep you with a balanced mind. Because I was developing eating, what was I calling it? Like I didn't have an eating disorder. I didn't have a problem with eating. I didn't care about my weight or anything like that. But I cared about my health. But I was really addicted to the stuff that I wanted, and I didn't want to only eat fruit. So in order to consistently eat fruit, I had to start allowing myself to have a little bit of what I know I wouldn't be like the perfect thing, but it legitimately worked for me mentally, and it made me happier. And I was losing my mental health trying to be perfect. And then I just realized perfectionism is a trap, and it'll literally keep you stuck in this like retrograde state where you're really not making any progress at all. So that is like, I get rid of perfectionism, meet yourself where you're at, and just focus on incorporating what's better for you rather than like what's 100% perfect. And, we're striving for excellence. We're not striving for perfection. And honestly, that takes time. It's a journey. Let me look at some of the comments. Yes, and being consistent about being that girl. Absolutely. I started with making my bed every day. Boom. Kayla, isn't it so crazy how making your bed every day, it's like the most simplest thing that you can do, a simple change that you can make, but how much it improves your mental health, how much better you feel about yourself just because you stayed consistent with that one action, making your bed, and you're not going to lay back in it. Like it tells yourself, okay, resting period over. Then I started adding a cup of tea in the morning. Yes, little things. Then about a week later, I started adding more water to my diet. Yes, it's like you just have to be so grateful for those little wins, because those little wins accumulate. It's the compound effect, and then they become these bigger things. And it's really our greatest achievements are because we are consistent with small things every single day. You lose weight when you choose to make small choices every single day. And the thing is people are so impatient. Start enjoying the journey. Keep your eye on where you want to be, but be grateful for where you're at. Let me tell you something. Every time you could have eaten, you could have slipped up yesterday, right? And had a seafood boil, right? But when you wake up today, God forgave you for that seafood boil. You know why? Because you ate it. No matter how your body felt after you ate it, no matter what it did to your mind after you ate it, about how you felt about yourself, you were still able to fall asleep and wake back up. That means God didn't kill you for it. You weren't punished for that action. You were given another chance to try again. So if God can forgive you for something like that, then you have to learn how to forgive yourself for something like that. It's not about being perfect. We always have the opportunity to get up every day and start over. Every day is a new day. It's a clean slate. What happened yesterday doesn't even matter. So stop having like that stuck state, like where your mind will not allow you to get past something that you did because you think that you need to be perfect. No, you probably had a seafood boil, right? But that was probably the first seafood boil you had in like 4 or 5 months. And you used to have seafood boils every single weekend. You have to start judging yourself based on how you used to be. So these are the ways that I keep myself on track because I have not been perfect. But when I tell you the state of health I was in when I had first started, I am grateful for how I feel today. I am grateful for my physical transformation. I am grateful for my state of mind. I am grateful for what I have created for myself in the physical realm. But it all started with the changes I started making internally and giving myself a lot of grace. And I had to learn recently to stop judging myself so harshly. We're not here to be perfect. We're just here to be better, right? Um, Hi, Tiger Carper. Peace, God. Yeah. So, like, look up as far as like to piggyback off of the romanticize your journey. I made a point on my notes saying that looking up the healthy restaurant options in your area, right? Start there. If you don't know like what to make, and I know people are against dining out. You don't necessarily always know like the oils they're using in this and that. But if you're a person who eats a standard American diet and you're struggling on transitioning off of that, the easiest way to expose yourself to healthier meal options are going to places that prepare them professionally. So if you're eating pizzas normally and you go and dine out with your friends and your family and you go and get you a Buddha bowl that got like some brown rice and quinoa with some sweet potatoes and some kale and some roasted corn and roasted red peppers and beans. And, like that is healthy. That's a subjective, that is a subjective form of healthy meal choices compared to the pizza you were eating with pepperoni, the meat lovers pizza compared to the beef burger that you used to eat, compared to the hot dogs that you used to eat, compared to all of that. It's genuinely a healthy choice compared to the version of yourself that was eating animal products. So we have to meet ourselves where we're at, and we cannot compare ourselves to where somebody else is in their health journey. So be inspired by people, but do not compare yourself to them, because you're always going to be comparing your day 1 or your day 10 to their day 1000 or day 2000. You know what I mean? Like, it's pointless. Meet yourself where you're at. Did I make any other points in here before I head out? I wish I had more time, but I do have to go to work. And I actually had another live recording, but my microphone wasn't on and nobody could hear me. So I wasted a whole 12 minutes of some good talking points. Yeah, and affirmations. If you cannot fathom genuinely changing and being healthy because where your self-esteem is at this point, your level of confidence, you have to start somewhere. That's just because the story you have been telling yourself over time, you believe in that story. Oh, this is a Yeti mic. I love it. I love it. It's a good investment. Um, and as I'm told, the audio quality is really good. So I'm grateful for that. What was I saying? Affirmations. So create affirmations. Create like an affirmation as if you have already achieved your health goal. An affirmation of how wonderful that you feel in your body and in your mind because of the conscious health choices that you've been making on a day-to-day basis. And say, no matter how imperfect I have been, I've been consistent. I love my life. I love my body. I love how I feel. I'm so grateful for all the weight that I've lost. I love all the energy that I've gained. And like, share your journey. There's power in sharing and inspiring. And to be honest, I'm more inspired by people's day one or week one. Like if I see someone who's like 400, 500 pounds and they're on like the day one of a fruit cleanse and they're sharing themselves eating an apple and they're sharing themselves on a treadmill and they're talking about the struggle, like that that inspires me so much. Like I pay so much more attention to that journey than the ones who are perfect already, who show you their a life in the day of a raw vegan, a life in the day of a fruitarian, a life in the day of a personal trainer, the one who already achieved the perfect body, the one who's already achieved the perfect health. And, you know, like I am so much more inspired by those who have a desire to be better than I am by those who's already achieved it. You know, those who have achieved it, they make great coaches and mentors. But as far as inspired goes, it's always going to be those making the hardest choice that they could be making right now. The ones really deep in the transitioning off of, weaning off of the addiction of the drugs. And I have to really, really internalize seeing that cooked, salted, sugared, fat filled food. Stop calling it food, Lachey. It's poison. You know, I didn't really want to promote that because I don't want people who are new in their journeys to be eating a rice bowl thinking they're eating poison. But this is just what I do because I genuinely do aspire to be like fully raw at one point. I aspired to be like a fruitarian, like 100% at some point. But I don't necessarily want to be that right now because right now I'm still just on my training wheels, so to speak, where I'm still just in the constant practice of making better choices, of staying away from certain foods. You know, like I'll never go back to putting like beef in my body or anything like that. But I'm just saying that there's certain aspects of the matrix that are very alluring. There's like that social aspect that's like I want to still go out with my friends and my family and enjoy something fun, and that's not necessarily the best for me, but it's not the worst for me either, you know, like a bowl, like a Buddha bowl, or like I'm not going to sit here and make it. Listen, unless your body is like breaking down, unless you are the unhealthiest version of yourself right now and you really and genuinely truly have to like be on a intracellular cleansing journey just to get your body back to balance, then you know you can get to a point where you can like start playing with different types of like plant foods again that are cooked and not perfect, that are denatured in a sense. But if you're like terminal and on your deathbed, like don't play with your body like that. Don't play with your life like that, because we do regenerate and you can achieve better health. You just have to have a certain level of discipline, a certain level of commitment, a certain level of devotion to healing. So we're not saying you got to be perfect like this your whole entire life. It's just saying you have committed all of your life to eating like crap. Now you have to commit a certain portion of your life not eating like crap. You know? So yes, I have to get going. I have an 11 o'clock appointment that I got to rush off to. I really enjoyed doing this live. I enjoyed interacting with you all. I'm going to delete my other live because there was no sound on it. And I don't even know if I have time to do that after I hang this up. But please expect to see me go live every day. This is me getting comfortable being uncomfortable. This is me really evolving, really putting myself out there, really helping people. And I tried to go live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube through StreamYard, but they kept telling me that there was too much traffic and then to try it every 30 to 60 seconds. And they kept asking me to do that. So I don't know what's going on with StreamYard, but I wasn't allowed to stream across all platforms, but I didn't want to use that as an excuse. So my YouTube channel is my new baby, and I will be nurturing it, and I will be coming here consistently every day. All right. I love you guys so much. I wish you well on your life journey in general. And if you are seeking to just make better health choices, then feel free to like, subscribe, and share this page, because I will be showing up every day to be some beacon of inspiration and hope. I am also on a health journey. I'm not perfect. I am not above anybody. I'm always going to keep it real with you. I'm always going to be authentic. And right now, I'm on the watermelon. That's how I'm going to be powered up for the rest of the day, for the rest of the summer. And off that A Game Herbal, I am a brand ambassador for A Game Herbal. It is a wonderful, wonderful supplement that I use on a daily basis that just kind of keeps me fast-tracked and focused. It gives me high energy. Makes it so much easier to be on a cleansing journey because it somehow suppresses my appetite and keeps me from having those crazy cravings, even though I'm not above cravings. Trust me, they come typically at night. But during the day, don't have them. Helps with my focus, center in my brain. Somehow I'm like way more ambitious, making more money, so much more creative. And it makes it easier for me to put myself out here and to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So if you're interested in A Game, reach out. I can get you a 15% discount with my discount code. And I'm out. I love you. Bye.